Customers Day, Tony. You have a question for our viewers?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Aren't you sick of us yet? All these years, we're so old. Aren't you sick of us?
Guess not.
I'm sick of us.
You know,
Really?
maybe a few of them want to watch people who actually watch games and not the clips.
Yeah.
Not, even the clip generation, they got to learn something.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the NBA does not suspend LaMelo Ball. The LIV Tour says it's going full throttle. And hockey analyst TJ Oshie joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with last night's NBA play-in games. Golden State beat the Los Angeles Clippers by making up a 13-point deficit in the fourth quarter on the road. The Warriors will now play Phoenix for the 8th seed. And Philadelphia beat Orlando convincingly, 109-97, and beat Orlando without Joel Embiid, who recently had an appendectomy. Steph Curry had 35 points for the Warriors. Tyrese Maxey had 31 for the Sixers, who are now the 7th seed and will play the Celtics on Sunday. Wilbon, which win was more improbable?
Golden State's win, Tony. Philly's playing at home and Orlando's a mess. Banchero has gone from, oh my God, what a talent, to what's up with this dude? What's going on in his head? So I hate to dismiss Orlando, who may even dismiss their coach, who I like tremendously. And I don't know what is going on there. No, we go to Golden State, we go to L.A., into a building that the Warriors were 0 for 9. They never won a game there. And they're supposed to be on a minutes limit, which made you and me laugh yesterday. And so and they're down, and they need something. And Steph is playing okay, but not great. And Al Horford's out there, and he's at like minus 20. And then, boom, it all starts going. Steph has a 16 points, in about 10-minute stretch in the third. He has 11 more in the fourth. Draymond blankets Kawhi Leonard in a way that made Draymond look like a combination of Dennis Rodman and Bill Russell. And you're like, oh, my God, a guy who's won a ring with his offensive prowess can't even get a shot. And so that win, I texted you very late.
Yes, you did.
I felt some sort of way. I felt honored to watch Steph Curry one more time. You don't know how many times you're going to get to see this, okay? He's not 27 years old. To watch Steph Curry and Draymond Green and then old man Al Horford do that, my God, it was cool.
Yeah, I got your text, and I could feel the passion in the text. My inclination is also to say it's great that Steph Curry continues to play this season.
Yes.
Right? He's got another game now. Because we all love Steph Curry. And Steph Curry was Steph Curry last night. In the second half, he had 27 points. He shot 10 for 14 from the field and 5 for 7 from 3. And I'm not immune to that. I'm not immune to Steve Kerr looking at the audience and saying, all you guys have said we should shut Steph Curry down. This is who he is, and this is what he does. I'm not immune to that. I'm not immune to Draymond Green holding Kawhi Leonard to 2 points in the fourth quarter in his home gym.
That's a wow.
I mean, just knocking him out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But, and here's my but, just as Steph Curry, I'm going to go for a while, just as Steph Curry is the most important and most valuable player on the Golden State Warriors, Joel Embiid is the most important and most valuable player on Philadelphia. And Curry played last night, and Embiid did not play last night. And Philadelphia still won. And I am impressed with the improbability of that.
That's
Tyrese
fair.
Maxey.
Michael WILBON just said something that every basketball fan needs to hear. He said, I felt honored to watch Steph Curry one more time. You don't know how many times you're going to get to see this. He's not 27 years old. And after watching the Warriors come back from 13 points down in the fourth quarter on the road against the Clippers, I know exactly what he means. Let me break down what happened last night. The Warriors were 0-9 in that building. They had never won there. They were supposed to be on a minutes restriction, which made Wilbon and Tony laugh yesterday. Steph was playing okay, but not great. Al Horford was at like minus 20. And then boom. It all started going. Steph had a 16-point stretch in about 10 minutes in the third quarter. He had 11 more in the fourth. He finished with 27 points in the second half. He shot 10 for 14 from the field and 5 for 7 from 3. But here's what really got Wilbon. Draymond Green. He said Draymond blanketed Kawhi Leonard in a way that made Draymond look like a combination of Dennis Rodman and Bill Russell. Kawhi couldn't even get a shot. A guy who's won a ring with his offensive prowess couldn't even get a shot. And WILBON texted Tony very late because he felt some sort of way. He felt honored. Now, Tony Kornheiser admitted he's not immune to Steph Curry. He's not immune to Steve Kerr looking at the audience and saying, "All you guys said we should shut Steph Curry down. This is who he is and this is what he does." And is not immune to Draymond Green holding Kawhi Leonard to 2 points in the fourth quarter in his home gym. That's a wow. But here's where Tony pushed back. He said, just as Steph Curry is the most important and most valuable player on the Golden State Warriors, Joel Embiid is the most important and most valuable player on the Philadelphia 76ers. And Curry played last night and Embiid did not. And Philadelphia still won. Tony is impressed with the improbability of that. The Sixers had to learn how to play without Embiid because he missed 44 games this year. They were 21 and 23 without him. It's not terrible, but they had to step up last night. And Tyrese Maxey had 31 points. The guy who didn't step up at all was Paolo Banchero. He was 7 for 22 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, with 6 turnovers. He melted. WILBON added, he's become an issue. He really has. Now let me talk about the LaMelo Ball situation because Tony Kornheiser did something rare. He changed his mind. Yesterday on the show, he said he didn't think you could put a penalty on someone in Game B for what they did in Game A. He thought that felt vindictive. He does not feel that anymore. He was persuaded by the footage indicating that LaMelo did this to the same guy before, to Bam Adebayo. So now he assumes intent. The NBA reviewed the play and assessed LaMelo a flagrant 2 and fined him $35,000. But they did not suspend him. Tony said, Bam Adebayo is the best player on Miami. His loss. Early in the second quarter, and you cannot convince me that that didn't have a play in the final score of that game. So he would change his mind now. Even though it would cost Charlotte the playoffs, which he thinks they deserve at 29 and 10 and 39, he would sit LaMelo. He said, don't talk to me about fines. Don't talk to me about $35,000 for that. 60 grand is a lot of money for most people in the world unless you make $38 million in a year and then it's meaningless. WILBON agreed. He said yesterday that LaMelo deserved a suspension because of flagrant 2 carries and ejection. He should have been ejected from that game. He understands why he wasn't in the flow of the game and why the officials wouldn't call it that way immediately. But once you look back and you go flagrant 2, Miami's at home, Bam is not worth 1 point. He just scored like 80 in a game. Of course he's worth 1 point in an overtime game. Miami got hosed. WILBON said, the fine is not enough. There needs to be a 1-game suspension. Now let me shift to golf. The LIV Tour said it's going full throttle for the remaining 9 scheduled tournaments this year. WILBON was asked how he would feel if he were a LIV player. He said, Rich. A lot of that money, hundreds of millions of dollars, was paid upfront and has been paid by now. He mentioned the AFL and how Joe Namath felt when the 2 leagues merged. Tony pushed back. He said he's not concerned about the money. He's concerned about the re-entry of LIV players to the PGA Tour. He said there should be consequences. He proposed a probationary period. Not for John Ram or Bryson DeChambeau, but for the others. Send most of the LIV guys to the DP World Tour for about a year to prove their game is still good. WILBON fired back. All the guys on the tour who stayed, you know what they got? Their pockets got heavy because all that leverage got the PGA Tour hundreds of millions of dollars. If I was one of the guys from LIV coming back, I would say, let's check your bank account 4 years ago and check it now, homie. Finally, let me talk about Alex Ovechkin. TJ Oshie, his former teammate, joined the show. He said he spoke with Ovechkin the night before the game. They hung out and talked for quite a long time. Oshie said he thinks Ovechkin was really on the fence and didn't want to close either door. He gets the sense that Ovechkin does want to come back. It might take a couple weeks to see how his body is doing. He's over 40 now. It takes a little bit more than it did when you are in your 20s and 30s. But Oshie said, I'm not kidding. If he comes back, I got him down for another 30-goal season. This guy can score like no one I've ever seen. Oshie also talked about the Buffalo Sabres. He said they're the one team he's most excited to watch in the playoffs. They've run through everyone in the last half of the season offensively. But in the playoffs, offense is harder to come by. They're very good in transition, but those transitions come from turnovers. In the playoffs, guys are a little more nervous to make high-risk plays through the middle. they're going to be a little more safe. So Buffalo's going to have to work a little bit harder. But if they adjust, they're probably his scariest team in the East and probably his favorite. He can see them going all the way. All right, let me wrap this up with some questions for you. Drop your takes in the comments. 1. Should LaMelo Ball be suspended for the next play-in game, or was the fine enough? 2. Was the Warriors' comeback against the Clippers the most impressive win of the play-in so far? 3. Should LIV golfers be allowed back on the PGA Tour without any penalty? 4. Can the Buffalo Sabres make a run to the Stanley Cup Finals? I'll read the best comments in the next video. Smash like if you think LaMelo should be suspended. Hit subscribe if you believe in Steph Curry and the Warriors. And comment your Warrior Suns prediction right now. Let's go.